What it do, what it do, what it do. Welcome to episode 23 of the Axis of Combat podcast. One of your co-hosts, Boogie Kahuna, Ray Boogie, Ray, Little Ray, Big Yellow Ray, my co-host.
Who the boss, who got next, you already know. And before we get into anything, you guys know the routine. Follow, like, subscribe, comment, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Everybody watching on YouTube right now, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell to stay up to date, comment, drop a like.
And for all of our audio listeners, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast, you already know. And before we get into any of these crazy ass fights, because this is a crazy ass fight week this week, we're going to recap our bets from last weekend and technically this morning, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so, but to start it off, we had a solid weekend. My brother, we'll start with my brother's bets. He had Ashmore's money line.
Oh, no, wait, hold up. We starting with the wrongs or the rights?
Wrongs, yeah. Because
Okay.
we got more right than wrong this weekend. So
It was a long week, man. All right.
Kian's at money line. Muradov inside the distance. Muradov via sub. Grant and Kulabau's money line. I also had Ashmore's money line, Muradov inside the distance, Muradov sub, Grant's money line, and I had a parlay for Aspinall, McCann, and Muradov. And
Who blew that one up?
McCann, unfortunately. Whatever. But regardless, we got robbed on the Davey Grant fight. I won't get into discussion with that. I think that was a complete travesty. You could argue he won all 3 rounds. Marcos definitely didn't win 2.
I wouldn't argue all 3, but he won Davey
2.
Grant won 2 rounds.
He won 2 rounds.
Yeah.
So, sorry bettors. That was a great read. Unfortunately, we got robbed by the judges there. And for our wins, we had Bruno Brazil. We had Alvarez. My brother had Parking. We both had Ziam. We both had Wood. Hey, yo.
Definitely packing that wood, yeah?
We both had a decision with the Wood. Hey. We both had...
Long distance wood.
We had Aspinall via knockout for the heaviest bet of the night. And I had a parlay for Brazil, Bannon, Vieira, and Kianzat to go to distance, and Craig Muniz not to go to distance. So overall, we had a good night with MMA. I broke even. My brother was a little over a unit, which is good. And for and for boxing, we got saved because George Camboso, he didn't win that fight.
No, he did not.
But we won because we had him winning via decision.
Payday, you want payday.
And unfortunately, we missed the ball with Inoue anyway. And I'm glad we left him for the end. This morning, we thought he was going to win via decision.
Yeah.
And he ended up knocking out Stephen Fulton in the 8th round. God, before we get into the fights this weekend, I just want to say to you guys that Inoue is the truth. Inoue is the future, and he is definitely working himself up to be the second coming of Manny Pacquiao.
I don't know. I think comparing him to Manny Pacquiao is a little disrespectful, to be honest.
I think I disagree.
Only because their styles are a little different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no. And here's why. Inoue he's a better technician at this point of his career than Manny was. That's why Manny got
he's a better technician than a lot of people are at this stage of the career. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but like in terms of them rising through the ranks, especially when they got to this weight class, Inoue's a little bit of a better technician than Manny Pacquiao. He just is. He's a way better technician. Yeah,
at this stage.
And he's only 30. He's got about 2 or 3 more years left in the prime, and I think he can move up to welterweight. But that's a different discussion for a different day. He completely demolished Fulton this morning, and I just want to let you guys know, if you think Stephen Fulton was overrated by any stretch of the imagination, you don't know shit about boxing. This guy was legit, went to wars, could fight you on the inside, could fight you on the outside. He was bigger than Inoue. He's a very accomplished champion. He's a beast. Inoue made him look like he didn't belong in there with him.
I mean, Fulton, before this fight, I mean, literally took 3 undefeated guys back to back to back and decided, you know what, I'll wait for Inoue. You know?
Before I move up to 126.
Make it my 4th, you know?
Crazy.
Fulton's legit.
He's legit. And he's like the pound for pound. On the pound for pound list, he's like ranked anywhere between 8 and 12.
Yeah. I mean, depending on the pound for pound list. I mean, there's no official pound.
There's no official, yeah, because all these different, promoters, they do it differently, right?
Yeah.
So, but he's anywhere between 8 to 12 on most people's list. And in a way, demolished him.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, because we're going to talk about Spence and Crawford. I don't think there's anything these guys can do this weekend that's going to convince me that they are pound for pound better than Inoue right now.
What, you talking about Spence and Crawford?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless Crawford goes in there and dog walks Errol Spence, I don't see it.
I mean, I think either if Crawford dog walks Spence or Spence dog walks Crawford, it would have to be
one-sided traffic.
Shellacking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
I don't see that happening.
I don't think that, I mean, we didn't see, in a way, I mean, making Fulton look like he didn't belong in there, but
Fulton didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
The
speed, man.
Yeah. We had that. Our bet was we had about a half a unit on the fight to go to distance.
Yeah.
But
that's because we respected Fulton that much.
That's how good he is.
You know?
Anyone else, we fade him against Inoue.
Yeah.
He's gonna knock him out.
We respected Fulton that much that we thought that, it'd make the distance, but
yeah, crazy, man. And I don't see any. I don't know. I can't see anything these guys do this weekend that's gonna change my mind on that. Because this guy Inoue is just fighting champions. He's fighting all his mandatories.
He's only going to be fighting champions.
Yeah, and he's probably going to get up to like 130, and he's going to still be dominant.
Before he hits a wall. I think. Yeah.
Crazy. He's incredible.
Maybe 135 is probably what hits the wall.
Well, yeah, we'll see. Because then that's when the Tank Davises and the Shakur Stevensons, they're all within that realm.
Yeah, but that's a long way from here and there, and I mean, by the time that even happens, I don't know.
Yeah. And
we got to see how much weight this guy is able to put on, and
correct,
how his power keeps translating up weight classes and stuff like that. But 100% currently right now, the 122 division was that super bantamweight, or I don't know the boxing back.
Yeah, it's weird.
The divisions are weird, but the 122, 126, 130.
Yeah.
I think he could make some crazy noise
within 2 years.
Yeah, 100%
minimum.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say like probably faster if these guys just line up to fight him. But yeah, but moving on, we're gonna go right into the Errol Spence and Terence Crawford card because I feel like it's a good leeway. It's also arguably the biggest fight of the weekend, and sorry for the UFC heads who are tuning in, but the historical significance of this fight with these two fighting, and I just want to start it off as well too with saying to them. Spence and Crawford, thank you for making this fight happen. Thank you for cutting out the promoters. The same thing with Stephen Fulton, because Stephen Fulton could have ducked Inoue, and he went to Al Heyman, to the money team, and basically said, listen, we got to make this fight happen, even if I have to fly across seas and fight Inoue on home turf.
Yeah, he took all the risk on that side there, but
yeah,
man, you got to take risks when you're chasing greatness.
You gotta salute this new crowd of fighters that are coming up. They're not afraid to take risks. They are all fighting each other. Tank fought Ryan, Inoue fought Stephen Fulton, and now we have Terence Crawford fighting Errol Spence Jr. all within, both within the same week. And I think it's the historical significance of this week is huge. The historical significance of this fight is huge. If Terence Crawford beats Errol Spence Jr., he'll be the first guy to be undisputed champion in 2 weight classes. I mean, dude, this is, it's a dream, and then toppled by this Gaethje Dustin Poirier fight card. Oh my goodness. But who do you got for this Errol Spence and Terence Crawford fight?
Well, I've been going back and forth on this. Originally I was on the Spence side, only because I think Spence is very dynamic when it comes to his striking and, all the looks he can kind of show. But, I mean, until proven otherwise, Crawford's defense is impeccable. And he claps, man. He thumps. So, I mean, it's got to be Crawford, I feel like. It's got to be.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that, okay, I don't, not that it's got to be, but...
Yeah, if you wanted to, and this is to the audience, if you wanted to take a shot on Errol Spence Jr., I'm not going to look at you crazy. He is the younger guy. He's going to be the bigger guy in there. But I'm with you on this. And I'm with you because if you look at Errol Spence's previous fights, he gets hit a little too much more than I like out of someone that I'm going to put money down against someone like a killer against, Terence Crawford.
Who's got he's got that one touch, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's his precision, his speed, and his power, man, all mixed in. I know he's 36 years old, but the thing is he's not in a 36-year-old boxing body because he does not take a substantial amount of damage in any of his fights.
Because of his defense.
He is very hard to hit. I could see him, even Errol Spence said it when, in one of the press conferences, we're working on a lot of things, especially defensively, like to shore up things. And he needs to because Ugas' old ass touched him and hurt him. I was watching the Kell Brook fight, and I know that was Kell Brook after Gennady Golovkin, but dude, Errol Spence had to muster up a lot to get, Kell Brook out of there. And there was points in that fight where Kell had him hurt. Not to the point where he was going to stop him, but like he hurt him. Ugas hurt him. Sean Porter hurt him a little bit,
Who hurt Crawford?
Nobody. And I think that I'm a big on defense, I'm a big defensive guy. If you're watching football, defense wins championships. Floyd Mayweather in boxing, defense wins championships. All the great MMA fighters the champions don't take a substantial amount of damage.
Yeah.
And I just seen if you look at what Terence did to Kell Brook, if you look at what he did to Sean Porter, he hit them and they didn't know what hit him. Like they look confused, and it's not only his speed, power, and his reaction time. It's legitimately his setups, his traps. He brings you into the space to make you fall into a ditch. And I've seen Errol Spence get wobbled one too many times. Now, don't get me wrong. Can Errol Spence win this fight? 100% if he uses his size and bullies him. Errol likes to parry with the jab, which is borderline illegal in boxing because he kind of holds it to your face to block your vision. Hits you with a hook or hits you with a straight, then turns the corner, stays on top of you, and drowns you with volume. I just don't know if he's going to be able to drown Terence with volume because Terence is never there to be hit. And a lot of guys, we've seen guys go after him, after Terence. And, I believe he did get dropped in the Gamboa fight, but Gamboa, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated fighters at that time in his peak. Super explosive, super fast, hits like a truck. And at that time, he was pretty technical. Even later in his career, he was technical, even up to fighting Tank. But he was already older and withered, and he was going up in a weight class where he probably didn't belong with Tank Davis. I could see Errol winning this fight. There is a path to victory. But I got to go with the more technical guy here. I got to go with the guy who's more responsible. And I agree with you. Like, I was thinking about the other day, damn, should I, take money on Errol Spence Jr.? But I just see Terence exploiting a lot of what he leaves open. Sometimes he overextends. Sometimes he walks into shots. But that's why, you love Errol Spence Jr. He's willing to take a shot to give a shot.
Yeah. And
he's really good at going to the body. He's fantastic. These guys are both all-time greats. But, is this, a Marvin Hagler, Tommy Hearns situation? Or is this going to be like Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard, Like, is one going to topple the other entirely? Or is this going to be a very tight, tightly contested contest, right? I'm going to be honest. I could see all three. I could see a world where Errol Spence Jr. completely smokes him. I could see a world where Terence Crawford smokes him. But I also could see this being a very good back and forth contest as well. My money is on Terence Crawford. I think Terence, if I had to pick who could give a one-sided ass whipping in this fight, I think Terence Crawford could. Because I think he's gonna hit Errol with shit that he's not gonna see coming. The shots that hurt you in a fight are the shots you don't see. And I've seen Terence Crawford make Sean Porter look amateur. He made him look like, you could see Sean. I never seen Sean look that bad in the ring. And then Sean Porter, if he doesn't get dropped in, I think the 10th or 11th round against Earl, that fight's a draw. There's just too much evidence for me to say, okay. And, they'll say, oh, well, Kell Brook was damaged goods when he fought Terence Crawford. I disagree with that because he went on to have a war against Amir Khan. I know, but he was clearly not shot born. It's just the way Terence sets up his shots. And then let's not forget the fact that Terence Crawford can switch stances. And he does it fluently. I could see him starting southpaw, then going orthodox, or starting orthodox and then going southpaw later in the fight. And then that opens up his power hand for Errol's stance because Errol's a southpaw. So there's a lot of things that can happen in this fight. I just think Terence is he's the better craftsman. He has more weapons. He has more tools in the shed. I think he's probably going to get pushed in this fight, especially with the size and all that stuff. But I think he gets it done. He probably knocks him out. But the money line is good enough for us to be taking him. So it's a good deal.
Now on from one main event to another banger of a main event. But we're not going to start with the main event. But it's headlined by Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje.
I love it.
And Dustin Poirier. UFC 291.
Salt Lake City, Utah.
Back in elevation.
Ugh.
Back in random ass Utah. Or U-Haul. Wait, Utah? Is it Utah?
I think it's Utah.
I'm about to call it U-Haul.
U-Haul for all the bodies that are going to be going to get carried out of this place. This card is a banger, guys.
Solid card. Top to bottom. 12 fights. Shorter card than usual, but I mean, I'm not complaining. Especially with the quality of fights on the card. So
and the quality of fights for this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to kick off the card here, we have the first prelim, early prelim, Miranda Maverick, Priscila Cachoeira. Fear the Maverick, Denver, Colorado, 26 years old, going against the zombie girl, Cachoeira, coming out of Brazil, 34 years old. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not too high on Maverick. I think she's a little overhyped. Her best win is Jillian Robertson.
I'm not impressed by your performance.
She's coming in last minute, late notice to fill in, to fight Cachoeira here. And as much as I don't want to admit it, I think she's going to get it done. I was really heavy on Cachoeira, but then I started doing some tape. Then I forgot about the Gina Mazzani fight. So it's going to be Miranda Maverick. Maybe there's a possible sub, maybe possible inside the distance, but she's probably going to win. If she keeps this standing, though, my girl Cachoeira going to catch a body. But Maverick's aside. I can't bet her. She's minus 300. I'm not going to put 300 on Maverick. I was never going to put 100 on Maverick. But Maverick's aside, she should get it done. What about you?
I agree. I think this is a very tough fight for Priscila because she does not have very good wrestling defense. Miranda's at her best when she's able to flow, use her striking to get to her wrestling. I see this fight late. Cachoeira can catch her with a nice shot for sure. But I see Miranda, once this fight hits the floor, doing whatever she wants. I'm definitely not betting this at minus 300. There's no props yet, but if there's an inside the distance and it's plus money or something in the low, mid 100s, I'm taking it. I think this is a very bettable fight. I think Miranda gets it done via punches and or submission on the floor. So she's going to stop this fight. I just don't see Priscila being able to deal with her on the floor. Gina Mazzani was giving her fits, and Gina Mazzani ain't Miranda Maverick. Now, does Priscila have a puncher's chance? Sure, but I'm not going to bet on that.
Next fight on the prelims in the welterweight division, we got Matthew Semelsberger going one-on-one with Udo Medic. Semi the Jedi, fighting out of Frederick, Maryland, 30 years old, going against the Doctor. Fighting out of Serbia, actually hailing from Serbia, fighting out of Alaska, 30 years old. We tried to bet on a Stormtrooper last week. Actually, no, we dodged the Stormtrooper because, he's not, he was the dark side. But Semi the Jedi, the Force is with this boy. I think he's going to put the Doctor to sleep. I don't know if he puts him to sleep, but I'm on Semelsberger here. I think he's very durable. I think he thumps. Uros Medic is moving up in weight. I mean, he's fought at welterweight before. Welterweight, right? 170 is welterweight? Yeah. Okay. Fought at welterweight before. But I don't know. There's a lot of question marks. We don't know nothing about his cardio. He's a good striker, but is there any kind of grappling there? Supposedly there is. I'm going to go semi the Jedi. Better strength of schedule. Bigger man. Was already on this card. This guy's moving up last minute. I don't like it. I like the Jedi. The Force is with this boy.
I tell you what, call the medic for medic.
Police! Help!
Call them.
Call the police.
Call the medics too. And I think Matt is very live to get this done inside the distance. This dude, Matt he went, all 3 rounds with Jeremiah Wells. Jeremiah Wells hits like a fucking truck. Super terrifying on the floor. Very big for the weight class. Durable, hits hard, has a good straight right hand. Very good wrestling. Very decent jiu-jitsu. Like, he can get it done everywhere. He's a very good all-around fighter. I just don't like Medic moving up in this spot. I don't like Medic taking this at last minute. And one thing I've seen from Medic, not very good at taking punches. Not very good at being the hammer, not good at being the nail. Yeah. And I see that being a lot of trouble for Matt, because I'm not going to pronounce his name. I keep saying Matt because I don't want to say it's Semelsberger.
Perfect.
Semelsberger.
Yep.
Sell him a burger.
Okay. Why you gotta do all that?
Sell him a burger. Semelsberger he's fucking legit, man. He's a fucking hammer. He probably gonna get this done inside the distance. I've already put 2 units on him. Just as a heads up, when this podcast drops, I suggest you guys do the same.
Well, not 2 units, but
yeah,
because the line is already kind of blown up. I don't know if you want to put 2 units on his current number, but
yeah,
I think he's good up to -200, and after that, I mean, you might probably want to parlay him or something, or
yeah, he's a safe parlay piece. There's some spots you can take him below -200, not on DraftKings. He's at -205 right now. So, but I like Semelsberger. I think he is legit. I think he is a hammer. Semelsberger is definitely the lean and definitely the bet.
All right, next up in the flyweight division, we have CJ Vergara going one-on-one with Vinicius Salvador. Vergara, fighting out of San Antonio, Texas, 32 years old, going one-on-one with the Brazilian Vinicius Salvador, 27 years old. This one, this was another one where I kind of went back and forth, because I don't want to say it's like a low-level flyweight, but it's the lower level of the flyweights. Vinicius has got good hands. Swings a little too wide for my liking. A little wild. CJ, small for the division. Slow for the division. But he's a tough son of a bitch. And I like his grit. He don't quit. And I think he's the side for me. I like CJ here. I don't know inside the distance. Maybe this probably goes to the scorecards.
Yeah.
Gut feeling. Don't know. But CJ is going to be side for me here. He's got the better strength of schedule. He's beat the better people. He's fought the better people. And Salvador, I mean, it's gotta be proven for me. He's kind of like a fake, not a fake, but like a bootleg Anderson Silva.
Horrible fighter.
He tries to be Anderson Silva, but he's like Anderson Silverware or something like that.
Bar for bar.
Yeah, I don't know. He's a little too flashy, a little too wild. And he's still young, so there's room to improve, but I think CJ should cover him here. Hopefully. Don't know. But I think maybe goes the distance is probably the side you want to bet. But as a side for the fighter, I'm going to lean CJ here.
Yeah, I'm on you with CJ. And I think CJ can exploit a lot of the wrestling deficiencies that Salvador has, because he is easy to take down. He got taken down his last contest against a guy who I don't think is as relentless with the wrestling. I also think CJ Vergara had good positions against Tatsuro Taira. He beat Cleeton Rodriguez, who is a fucking hammer. And he's fought the way better caliber of competition, to your point. I like CJ a lot in this spot. Don't know if I'm going to bet him because Salvador can catch him with a good shot. He just swings a little too wide for me. If he straightened out his punches, I'd probably take him as a live dog here. But the problem is he swings wide. CJ's going to be able to, either shoot or get out of the way of them because you could see him coming from a mile away. He kind of loads up with his punches. And he's not very defensively responsible. Leaves his chin up. Really trusts his head movement when his head movement is not that good. Shannon Ross put him on his butt 3 times, and Shannon Ross is not that good of a fighter, if I'm going to be quite frank with you.
And there were spots where he could have finished Shannon Ross, and he kind of just didn't. So, like,
correct.
The killer instinct is kind of missing there, where I know CJ, if he's got the chance, he'll go and try to finish.
Absolutely. He'll take your neck. He'll take whatever he can. CJ's good everywhere. Good grappler, decent striking, straight up dog. And very, hard to kill like Steven Seagal. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I'm gonna roll my dice on CJ here. Don't know if I'm gonna bet it, but definitely CJ's the lean.
All right, to kick off the regular prelims here, we got a fight at 170 welterweight, and it's Jake Matthews, the Celtic kid, going against the debuting beast mode, Darrius Flowers. Jake Matthews, fighting out of Australia, hailing from Australia, 28 years old, fighting Mason City, Iowa's own beast mode, Darrius Flowers, 28 years old. I like Jake Matthews here. Not with the most confidence. I think if Jake Matthews gets to the wrestling, I think this could look pretty easy. Problem is Jake doesn't really like getting to the wrestling. He likes striking. And if he wants to keep this striking, this is kind of where Flowers might be a live dog, because Flowers wants to keep this striking. Flowers coming in last minute, like with a week's notice. Upper weight class. Originally, he was waiting for a fight like around 155. He said, I'll take this fight at 170. He's small for the weight class. I like Matthews. Maybe I stick him in a parlay. Or maybe I just stay away. I don't know. Because the problem is I would like to trust that he would like to wrestle here. If I knew he was gonna wrestle, I think this would be an easier pick. But I'm gonna pick Matthews here. Yeah,
Matthews is the lean. And the problem is I probably don't want my money touching anywhere near any part of this fight, because Matthews just is a habitual line stepper. He makes poor fight decisions. If he wrestles, he's going to win this fight. I also don't like Darrius Flowers coming in on short notice for this fight. And he's never had the best cardio in the first place. So if he doesn't get Jake out in the first round, it's a wrap. And Jake is durable. But the thing is, I don't like to lean on someone's durability as a reason to pick him. Especially with someone that can hit like Darrius Flowers. My man slamming dudes and dislocating shoulders. You know what I'm saying? So, but Jake's fight-making decisions, problematic, man. Very problematic. And, it's crazy because it's with him, and I was having this discussion with you off the podcast. Some fights he looks like a fucking world beater, and then some fights he looks like he's checked out.
Yeah.
And it's just hard for me to commit to a guy like that. And, he's got all the talent in the world, man. I don't mean to disrespect him, but unfortunately, like, he hasn't shown it, and when
he showed it in spurts. Here,
spurts. What he did to Andre Fiallo was crazy.
Yeah.
Which
is crazy, because if he just would have wrestled Fiallo, it probably would have looked easier. But
he doesn't, he likes to, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, right? So if
he won a nice prize there.
Yeah, but we'll see against Darrius Flowers. Flowers is going to be giving him flowers, possibly, if he KOs his ass in Salt Lake City. You know what I'm saying? So, Jake Matthews, don't know how I'm going to bet it.
Next fight here in the middleweight division, we have Roman Kopylov going one-on-one with Claudio Ribeiro. Kopylov, fighting out of Russia, hailing from Russia, 32 years old, going against the Brazilian, 31 years old, Claudio Ribeiro. This is another one where I think this is going to be a good fight. These guys are both finishers. Kopylov, I know he trains in Dagestan. He might be improving his wrestling. Haven't really seen it yet. He kind of likes to strike. He's a striker at heart. Low volume. Can thump, but can get hit. Claudio, a little more reckless. But, man, he's got wicked calf kicks. Wicked power. I think he's going to be the stronger of the two guys. He might be the bigger of the two guys. He's the more volatile in terms of, you know, you don't know what's going to come from him. I think Roman Kopylov is the cleaner striker. But I like Ribeiro here. I think I'm going to take a dog shot on Ribeiro. I think Ribeiro probably gets it done here. Only because, I mean, Kopylov, like, I think he's good, but he hasn't really beat anybody impressively. I mean, man, he struggled against Darrius. He got beat by Carl Robinson, and I don't think, and he got like wrestled and submitted by Carl Robinson. Yeah. And Robinson's not really a good wrestler. I think Claudio here, I mean, he hasn't really beat anybody either, but
he thumps.
He's shown more flashes, I think, of a higher ceiling. And I don't think Kopylov is going to be able to deal with his calf kicks. And I think that's going to be a big setup for a Ribeiro finish, I think. That's the way I'm leaning. Yeah.
I would say Kopylov might be the lean, but I think Claudio is going to be the bet. So I'm with you on the dog pick. Roman's, I don't know. He's gotten better since the Darrius fight, to be fair.
I agree.
So I don't want to completely shit on the boy. But what I will say is that he's not really too impressive. Doesn't really have fight-ending power. Has to kind of volume you out. His grappling's okay. Doesn't really show it, even though he is, from the Dagestani part of the world where they do emphasize heavily on wrestling. So I'm not sure. But the thing is, he's never really used it. You don't really see it. Claudio improving on his wrestling, knows how to work against the cage, throws heavy leg kicks. I mean, like John Blachowicz leg kicks, Alex Pereira level leg kicks. And you see when he touches these guys' legs, they're like, fuck. Like they got hit with a bat. I like Claudio as a dog here just because I know he can defend himself off his back, but also because he has that fight thumping power, man. And with that mixed with that leg attack. And Kopilov's first instinct is going to be to stand. So I can see him kind of getting caught in an exchange here. I just think the line is a little disrespectful. If the lines were a little more pick'em or even money, I'd go Kopylov. But you're going to give me a guy who has a good leg attack and fight ending power at plus 200, and he's shown flashes of getting better. I'll take a shot on him, Not sure if I'm going to commit to that, but that's how I would bet this fight. I don't even know how to bet it with the rounds and this and that because it can end in the first round. There's a lot of things that can happen with this fight, so I think it's dog or pass, or if you're going to parlay Kopylov, but I don't feel comfortable with parlaying Kopylov in this spot. So lean is Kopylov, bet's probably going to be Ribeiro.
All right. Next fight we got in heavyweight division, the sole heavyweight fight. We have Derrick Lewis going one-on-one with Marco Rogério de Lima, the Black Beast. Houston, baby. 38 years old. Fighting against Brazil's own de Lima. 38 years old. This fight.
Where them Texas boys at?
It's sad because it's like Derrick Lewis looks like he's on the decline. Marco's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I had thoughts about this, and looking at it again, I'm like,
yeah,
I don't know.
This is one of those fights where we got to see where Derrick Lewis's headspace is at during this week. We got to see how he looks like on the scale and this and that. But if you're going to give me Derrick Lewis at plus 185, which means his knockout's probably going to be like upward of 200.
Probably plus 200.
I'll take a shot on that. And the reason being is Marcos is the better fighter. Marcos should win this fight 100%. Just like Curtis Blade should have won that fight. Just like Alexander Volkov should have won that fight. And I know people are like shitting on Derrick Lewis saying he's washed because he lost to what's his name, Tai Tuivasa.
Yeah, they give him a lot of shit for that fight and the Spivak fight.
But Spivak is teetering on elite right now. I think he's turning a corner under this guy, the guy who trains Francis Ngannou.
Yeah,
that guy's a great fucking coach, and he's also bigger than Derrick Lewis. Spivak, he's going to what he's good at now. Now he's just using his wrestling and his grappling. And you want the real, that's Tai Tuivasa is underrated. You talking about the same Tai Tuivasa that almost took Cyril Gane's life in his last fight? Come on, man. You know, I
feel like this fight is like a litmus test to see if Derrick Lewis is actually washed. Because if he can't beat De Lima,
yeah,
I think it's one of those things where he might just have to hang him up.
I agree.
And for De Lima, it's a good test because this is probably the best heavyweight he's fought.
Correct.
In terms of resume.
Yep.
So for him, it's like, okay, this is a step up for him.
Yep.
And I don't know, man. I'm just sad because I like Black Beast, man.
It's hard not to like Black Beast.
I like my balls is hot. I love them Texas boys. I might have to just take a shot on him by KO one last ride, and hopefully, De Lima's got the tools. At least one tool. He's got leg kicks.
Yeah.
And Derrick Lewis don't like him.
No.
So it's like,
I don't see De Lima wrestling him, and even if De Lima gets him to the floor, I could see Derrick Lewis scrambling back up. Lewis is going to have the size advantage in this fight, and every time they put him against one of these heavyweights that's on the come up, he kind of sets him back. That's why I'm kind of like, don't get me wrong, De Lima's the overall better fighter. He's the better grappler. He's a better leg kicker. I could just see him throwing a leg kick and Derrick catching him. Catching him flush on the chin, and Derrick just needs one.
I could also see this fight stopping via leg kicks.
Yeah. There's a lot of shit that can happen in this fight. This fight's almost unbettable. If you're going to bet it, I think you either bet the finish or you bet Derrick Lewis via knockout. And, probably first round. Because the thing is with De Lima, he doesn't really have fight-ending power. Tai Tuivasa can drop you with one shot. Sergey Pavlovich can drop you with one shot. And those are his last two opponents, man. So it's like, to criticize who he's lost to, it's like, look at the caliber of opponent,
Mm-hmm.
And,
And De Lima's, again, people are going to say, well, he's never been knocked out. Actually, no, he's been knocked out, but it was once, and it was like in the regional scene. And I think that was when he was at light heavyweight.
Yep.
So, but then again, you can look at his resume. He hasn't fought anybody
elite
with this kind of like magnitude of power in their hands. So,
Derrick Lewis can knock anybody out in this division.
I agree.
And that's his play. And the thing is, like, you're going to tell me you're giving him an undersized guy that has a leg attack? I can see him just parrying the kick and throwing it straight right down the middle and cleaning his shit. So this fight's a big fucking stay away from me, man. In a lot of respects. This fight scares me. And I know people are like, oh, well, the line for Lima opened up at -150, man. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I can see a lot of ways De Lima loses this fight, and he has to wrestle Derrick. Derrick does have wrestling. Like, he does have decent defensive wrestling. Not elite, not like against a Spivak, not against like a Curtis Blades. If they ran it back, Curtis Blades probably, does whatever he wants to him. But my thing is, De Lima doesn't have those tools with the wrestling, in my opinion. Against the cage, sure, but you got to get Beast to the cage. Then you got to get on top of him, mount his big body. He's probably going to explode up. And then you got to catch him on a scramble with an armbar. But if you want, the thing is, that's the last thing you want to do too, because if you don't get the armbar and you're on bottom with that dude on top of you, he's going to kill you. He's literally going to kill you. So, big fucking stay away. I would say De Lima's the lean, but Derrick Lewis might be the bet. That's where I'm at with this.
All right, main eventing the last prelim here. We have Trevin Giles going one-on-one with Gabriel Bonfim. The problem, Giles. Houston, Texas, another Texas boy, 30 years old, going against, I don't know how to say my man's nickname, Bonfim. He's the better Bonfim, though. Fighting out of Brazil, 25 years old. The problem, Giles, right? Giles. I keep calling him Giles. The problem, Giles. Well, the problem with Giles is that he's got all the tools to cook, but he's not a good chef.
No.
He's beaten people he probably needs to beat but hasn't beaten people he should be beating.
Weird, but 100%.
I mean, he's got some decent names, especially early on in his career. But like lately, it's kind of like you can kind of catch him either which way right now. And Bonfim, the better Bonfim, because I bet the last Bonfim he burnt me.
Burnt me bad too.
But the better Bonfim here, he could bring it. You know, he throws strikes without, you know, any kind of like care in the world, because he wants you to kind of grapple him and take him down. Because I think his specialty is, let me snatch that neck up.
It's jiu-jitsu.
Let me snatch that leg up. You know, he's good. He's good, and he's explosive. He's young. Would I be surprised if Giles, I don't know, gives him like a veteran lesson? Maybe not the most surprised, but I do expect Bonfim to win this and win this easily. Maybe inside the distance, but his number is way too big to bet straight. So this is probably like another parlay piece. Yeah, that's all I really got.
Yeah, that I agree with you. And Trevin Giles, just to piggyback off of you, he's chinny, man. You know, he's not durable. You know, my man's a cop, so
Police!
A former cop.
Help! Police! Help!
he needs help. My man needs some help. You know what I'm saying? Like I think he's super chinny. I think he makes bad decisions in there. And what have we always told you guys about betting, you know, on fighters on this podcast that have bad fight IQ? I agree with that. Was a great analogy you gave about the cooking. You know,
He's got the tools, man. He
yeah,
got everything he needs to cook. Sometimes you just can't put it together. You can't put together a perfect meal, you know?
yeah, he's the master chef of cutting his own fingers.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know if he's the master chef, but
Of cutting his own fingers.
yeah, maybe.
Straight up, man. Not to shit on him, man. I have a ton
he's good. He's
I have
good.
a ton of respect for all these fighters, man. But God, I just think like this fight's a little scary to parlay. And the reason it's a little scary to parlay is because Bonfim, when he throws punches, he kind of leaves his chin up.
Yeah.
And if Tevin touches him, he might knock him out. This fight's probably not going to go the distance. I'll say that much. Bonfim's the lean. I'm definitely not betting Trevin Giles. I don't know if I'm going to parlay Bonfim or just pick him to finish, but we'll see how the lines open up, and then we'll inform you guys. But definitely follow us on social media for that one, because I feel like there's value in that spot. We just got to see how the lines open up. But yeah, Bonfim's the lean and probably going to be the bet, and violence in this fight. I would think so too. So.
All right, to kick off the main card, we got Michael Chiesa going one-on-one with Kevin Holland. The Maverick, Chiesa, moving up from 155. Fighting out of Spokane Valley, Washington, 35 years old. Going one-on-one with the Trailblazer, Kevin Holland, moving down from 185. Fighting out of Fort Worth, Texas. A lot of Texas boys on this card.
Oh, yeah.
30 years old.
Where them Texas boys at?
I know Kevin Holland has been susceptible to the submission game, and I know Chiesa pretty solid with some submissions. You know, he's a pretty good grappler, if I don't say so myself. But I like Kevin Holland here. I don't know why I like Kevin Holland here. Actually, no, I do know why I like Kevin Holland here. Because I feel like Chiesa is very comfortable doing his UFC gig, you know? He don't really need the money.
All up in the videos.
Yeah, he's all up in the videos, you know what I'm saying? UFC.com, doing all the broadcasts and stuff. It's been a while since he last fought, and the last time he fought, he ain't really looked too hot.
No.
Going against Kevin Holland, who very active. Even with broken body parts, still going in there and doing work. I just think Kevin Holland just runs him over, to be honest. If it stays standing, he 100% runs him over.
Yeah.
And even when it comes to the grappling, I still think as long as he doesn't give up his fucking back, Kevin Holland should be all right.
Correct.
So
even Kevin Holland from guard is dangerous.
Yeah.
He's knocked out dudes from guard. So yeah, I'm with you on this. And I got a bet on Kevin Holland already. I would suggest you guys jump on it too if you guys are tailing me. Do you have a bet on him as well?
I'm gonna bet after this podcast is concluded.
Yeah, I got a bet on him and his money line. I found him at minus 140, and I like that line for him. I don't like Chiesa's inactivity. He's the Maverick on this card that I don't like. I think he's a little overrated, and I'm gonna be quite frank with you. I think he was a weight bully at 55. He is good at taking the back. That's probably the best part of his game, but his striking is okay. He's not.
Yeah.
You know, he beat Sean Brady, but you want the real. I don't think
he beat Sean Brady?
Oh no, he lost to Sean Brady. Sorry.
He lost to Sean Brady.
He lost to Sean Brady, and you guys know I'm not that high on Sean Brady. I've been very firm on that. You know, I think Sean has good grappling and things of that nature, but his wrestling is pretty good. But you know, you just beat Michael Chiesa, man. That's it. You know, like Michael Chiesa is not active. He's big for the weight class, so him and Kevin should have like some dimensional similarities, but Kevin's gonna be the longer fighter here. He's coming down from 85. He's knocked out people at 205. Actually not 85. He's actually fought as high as 205, if I'm correct, which is fucking crazy.
Yeah, he's crazy.
He's crazy, but he's extremely durable. His striking, not the most technical, but dude, he dumps and he knows how to set it up, especially when he throws that high kick leading into the jab or the straight right. Or straight left rather. I think he's a southpaw. But I like Kevin in this spot, and I like Kevin just because of Chiesa's inactivity. Chiesa doesn't have a ton of punching power, and I think Chiesa is a little overrated. I'm gonna be quite frank with you. I agree with you. I also think the UFC gig takes a lot away from him and his training. Holland, Kevin might finish him. Kevin might even sub him, but I could see this fight also going to decision. I think you just bet the money line. You either pick or you go Chiesa with the dog shot, but I don't like the dog here. The dog's going to get killed in this fight, in my opinion. I think Kevin, if Chiesa can't get it to the floor, it's going to be a long fucking night for Chiesa.
All right, next fight we have in the card here. It's another sad one, unfortunately. We got Tony Ferguson going one-on-one with Bobby Green. El Cucuy fighting out of Ventura, California, 39 years old, going against Bobby King Green. Fighting also out of California, 36 years old. I mean, I want to pick Tony Ferguson so bad. I do. But my man looks faded. You know? Yeah. It's unfortunate. Listen, I'm not going to bet Bobby Green at minus 400. That is
hell no.
Fucking insane.
Yeah.
But do I think he should be the favorite? Probably. I mean, they're both in the middle of crazy losing streaks. I mean, technically Bobby is coming off of a no decision, but like a no contest.
Yeah, with Jared Gordon.
He headbutted my man. Try to say it was a punch or an elbow. My man's a psychopath, bro.
My fight money, that's what he was worried about. He didn't get his win bonus.
But I do think Bobby Green, he should have what it takes to get it done. Or at least to win. I don't know if this goes inside the distance or if it goes to decision. I don't know. I think Bobby Green's the side. I don't know how I'm gonna bet this fight, if I'm gonna bet it at all. Man, I don't know. I like Tony, man, but he looks faded, man. I can't bet him. I can't bet a faded Tony, and he's almost 40. It's rough, man. Rough to see a legend like this kind of go out the way he's going out. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah,
he's fighting Bobby Green.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite. He's one of my favorite fighters of all time. And you know, people are gonna look at me crazy when I say this, but in my opinion, he's probably the best lightweight of all time. I know people are gonna say Khabib or BJ Penn, and he's never held the championship. Dude, it was UFC politics that kept Tony Ferguson from the belt. You know, and I think especially when they were first pairing him and Khabib, I think he would have given Khabib a ton of trouble on the floor because Khabib had no gas tank, no wrestling, no conditioning, always missed weight constantly. Later, of course, I think Khabib beats him, even, Tony before fighting Justin Gaethje. But it's hard to see a legend like Tony Ferguson, continue forward with his career when I think he has nothing else to prove, in my opinion. I think he's one of the greatest lightweights of all time, if not the greatest, and we'll leave it at that. But to get to this fight, Bobby Green should win this fight, probably by decision, because he's not a very big puncher. Should be able to keep Tony on the outside. Has good defensive wrestling. But what I will say is, at plus 310 for Tony Ferguson, I'm probably not going to bet this fight, guys. But what I will say is, you're going to look at his last 2 performances, the last one being against Nate Diaz. He took that fight on a day notice when he was only preparing for a 3-round fight, it turning into a 5-round fight, which is why I think he was super conservative in that fight. The fight before that, he was fighting Michael Chandler. And if that is the sample size that I was working with, I'm not going to lie to you, I might take a shot on Tony Ferguson just because he won the first round against Michael Chandler. And if you look at who he's lost to outside of Nate Diaz, who he took on a day notice and is the bigger man, he's lost to only really top 5 competition. Charles Oliveira is fighting for a championship, but Neil Darrius just got knocked out by Charles Oliveira. He lost to Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler's fighting Conor McGregor right now. Conor McGregor is still ducking Tony Ferguson, even though Tony Ferguson is old and withered. Islam Makhachev never got a crack at him, but was calling for that fight for a long time. Justin Gaethje is in the top 5, and he's also fighting Dustin Poirier this weekend, who also never got a crack at Tony Ferguson. So if you look at the sample size of who he's lost to, it's like elite level fighters.
Yeah, he's lost to the top of the top.
So. I think there's a play here possibly to take him. I got to really look at it. I want to see what he looks like on the scale. I want to see how he's talking this week. The leans Bobby Green, the bet might be Tony Ferguson, because I do think if you're going to, not that Bobby Green's a bad fighter.
You know what? I don't disagree with you.
It's just that Bobby Green is not those guys.
Yeah.
Islam Makhachev walked through him. You know? Islam Makhachev is not walking through those other guys that I just mentioned. He's just not. And, you know, Tony did win the first round of the Chandler fight before he got knocked out in the second by that hellacious head kick. You know, so I think, you know, there's a very good chance Tony can edge this out. This might be low-key be the UFC doing both of them a favor, because Tony, easier fight, not a big puncher, not a guy that can sub you. He's going to stand up with you, play your game, but doesn't have enough pop to knock you out. Very good defensive boxer, very good offensive boxer, going against a guy in Tony Ferguson who is super unorthodox, can throw spinning back elbows, can use his wrestling, and probably can take Bobby down. I could see him doing it. Will I bet on it? I'm not sure. I just think at plus 310 is a little fucking crazy. Especially the way Bobby Green has looked his last couple of performances where Jared Gordon was putting mitts on him.
True.
Tony Ferguson can fucking hit him and kick his legs out. There's a lot of things, but this fight might be a big fucking pass for me too. But if I'm going to bet it, it's probably going to be Tony Ferguson just because of the value of the line.
All right, now we're here at the featured bout of the card. We got Stephen Wonderboy Thompson going one-on-one with, I don't know how to say his nickname, Michel Pereira. Wonderboy. You can guess. Fighting out of South Carolina, 40 years old. Good old American boy. Going against the Brazilian. Fighting out of Rio de Janeiro, 29 years old. Michel Pereira. The Demolidor. Demolidor. There you go. I'm pretty sure that's like Brazilian for the Demolition Man or something.
Yeah, there's only one Demolition Man for us. His name is Wesley. Oh, no, his name is Stallone. I'm sorry.
Dang, you messed it up. Wait, what's Wesley's name in that movie?
Oh, God. Let me get back to you with that.
What's your boggle?
Yeah.
I remember that name. Well, that catchphrase.
Forget.
Simon Phoenix.
Oh, God.
Simon Phoenix.
Iconic villain name.
Yeah. Well, there's no Simon Phoenixes here. We got, I think, I'm pretty sure this is a 3-round fight. I'm pretty sure there's like a gentleman's agreement, low key. No grappling.
No grappling.
No grappling. Even if Michel Pereira, because I mean, he's the slight favorite, and it's because of probably the grappling.
No, actually, no, he's a slight dog.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wonderboy's minus 150 right now.
Well, Michel could grapple if he wanted to, but I think Wonderboy's technical enough to, like, you know, I mean, he stopped a lot of guys from kind of grappling him. He's, you know, very good with space management, avoiding the grappling, and getting up pretty quickly when he can. He is 40 years old. I'm going to lean Wonderboy here. Only because, you know, that experience, the volume he puts out, savvy, the IQ, this is the kind of fight Wonderboy wants. If you don't got to worry about grappling, I think he's like the living embodiment of like the Karate Kid.
100%.
You know? And then we got Michel Pereira. He's the living embodiment of any Tekken character you can think of. My man does donkey kicks.
Like Yatsumitsu,
Like
bro.
Yoshimitsu.
That is crazy.
Like King, he does the standing backwards with a body slam.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell that shit that he did on fucking Nico Price.
Yeah.
He does some crazy shit, like shit that you only see in Tekken. My man is literally a Tekken character.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be a good fight. I think it's going to be a good back and forth. I mean, Pereira's... Do I blame anybody for taking Pereira? No. 11 years younger. He's got the power edge for sure. I mean, he could clip Wonderboy by accident.
Pettis did, which is crazy.
And knock him out. Pereira is, he's strong. And, I don't think he's really got the cardio, though. I'm like Wonderboy here. Wonderboy. I mean, it's scary betting a 40-year-old man against the guy 11 years younger, but I like Wonderboy.
Yeah. I like Wonderboy too, especially at this line at minus 150. I agree with you. I think if the line, even if the line was a little higher, I was going to take it. But I understand why people would be scared away if it was closer to minus 200. I love Wonderboy at minus 150 because this line dropped. I've already made a bet on it. I think Wonderboy is going to style at him on the feet. This fight is going to be fucking amazing, by the way, guys. There's going to be some real...
This is Bruce Lee shit.
In this fight.
Facts.
100%. There's going to be some wild kicks, wild punches. Pereira, if you've never seen him fight, this dude is super athletic, like freakishly athletic.
Yeah, my man's going to do like a rolling thunder into a donkey kick, into a spinning back fist, into a...
Yeah.
I don't know. He might turn into Thor mid fight.
Dude,
double axe hand slam from the top of the cage. Who knows? I don't know. He's crazy, bro.
He threw a flying knee and jumped and cleared somebody in a fight.
It's crazy.
Dude, he's freakishly athletic.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, can he catch Wonderboy? Sure. I think Wonderboy is aware of all his tools. And even if he tries to grapple Wonderboy, he does not have the chain wrestling to keep Wonderboy down. Yeah. He pops up really well. Wonderboy's defensive grappling is actually super underrated. I expect he's probably working with Chris Weidman again since Weidman is back on his feet. Weidman's giving him some good looks. And
side note, I don't like Weidman, but we'll continue. I think he's overrated.
Sure, but
I'm throwing it out
his
there.
wrestling's good.
I don't like him.
But what I will say is I think that Wonderboy, like Bilal Muhammad was able to hold him down, but Bilal Muhammad was working with Khabib, developed some really good chain wrestling, was able to tie up a leg, then transition to the body lock, then back to a single, then pull the other leg out. Bilal's underrated.
No, Bilal's a beast.
He's a beast.
Yeah. And grappling is his game.
And then Gilbert Burns was able to hold him down, but Gilbert Burns also a beast. And even he was still able to get up against Gilbert.
Yep.
I don't see Michel working for the takedowns like that just because he is not technically solid enough, as well as his gas tank, as you mentioned. And I see this fight probably standing for most of the time. As long as Wonderboy doesn't throw a kick and then, he gets Valentina Shevchenko where Grasso grabs up his neck, where Michel could grab up his neck.
I don't think Pereira is even thinking about grappling, to be honest. I think the only way he thinks about grappling
is he gets hurt.
Is if he clips Wonderboy and the Wonderboy's on the ground, then he'll jump into Wonderboy's guard or something like that, and then that's how the grappling will commence.
Or Pereira gets hurt.
Or Pereira gets hurt.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I just don't see it though. I think I agree with you. I think there's going to be a gentleman's agreement for this, but even if there isn't, I think Wonderboy is savvy enough with the groundwork to get back up to his feet, keep this fight standing. And my man is a master of distance management.
Yeah.
Literally the real life Karate Kid. This guy has highlight knockouts for days. And I think his setups are fantastic. His blitz style is really good. Pereira's not really a great boxer. He has a good overhand, but he kind of loads up a lot with his shots.
Yeah.
Both of these guys do their best work with their kicks. And I don't see either one of them getting caught with a kick, if I'm going to be honest with you.
I mean,
maybe Pereira.
Maybe
Pereira.
No, I can see Pereira just
doing some wild,
some crazy
rolling thunder shit.
Yeah, he's like running off the cage, top rope, body slam.
Yeah. I don't know.
750 splash.
I just trust Wonderboy's defensive distance management to maintain him not getting hurt in this fight. He might get hit. I don't think he's going to get killed. Wonder Boy's money line is juicy. I love this fight for Wonder Boy. I think he's going to win it.
If you had to pick distance or inside?
I'm not sure because Wonder Boy barely finished Kevin Holland. If Kevin Holland didn't break his hand, that fight probably still continues. He's not the biggest finisher unless he can catch you with a kick.
I think gut feeling. I think it goes.
If it goes all three,
yeah.
It's a great fight. It's a good featured fight. This card is phenomenal, but this fight is like I'm dotting it. I'm not missing it. My popcorn and my soda will be present with me by the fucking couch because I will not be moving. So, give me Wonder Boy money line.
All right, now we're here at the co-main event, and this one is another banger. We got Jan Blachowicz going one-on-one with Alex Pereira. The debuting Pereira, Poatan, actually debuting in this weight class here. You know he's Brazilian, 36 years old, going one-on-one with the Polish Power. He don't got a nickname, but he's Polish Power. Jan Blachowicz, fighting out of Poland, hailing from Poland, 40 years old. As you can see, you can tell who my brother likes.
Well, I don't necessarily like him in this fight, but yeah, what? Go ahead.
Well, I think this fight is this fight should be a pick'em.
It's pretty much it's close. It's a Jan Blachowicz is minus 125 on DraftKings and Alex Pereira is plus 105.
This is one of those fights where you have to just go to dog either side.
Yeah,
either side. I think if Blachowicz is the dog, you go Blachowicz. If Poatan is the dog,
which he is,
go Pereira. I mean, it's dog either way. I think if I knew Blachowicz was gonna wrestle and wrestle often, it might be a different story. The problem is he wants to strike.
Yeah,
and Pereira, I don't like that he's coming back quick turnaround off a crazy knockout, but he's moving up in a weight where he don't got to make a crazy cut. He's 100% probably the better striker. Probably hits harder.
Yeah.
He's going to put Polish Power to the test. And, man, I think this is just going to be a great fucking fight. It could play out a million different ways. But, I mean, gun to the head. Imaginary gun to the head. Because, we don't condone that stuff. I would pick Blachowicz to win. But I think this is dog or pass in terms of betting. And I think if you're going to bet, currently Poatan is the dog. And I think he's more than capable of winning this fight. What about you?
I agree with everything you said. If I knew Jan Blachowicz was going to wrestle, this is an easy pick. The thing is, Jan Blachowicz is kind of fucking crazy. Did not wrestle Izzy or try to wrestle Izzy till like late in the second round, third round. Did not, still with Alexander Rakic, did not use a lot of his grappling. Still with Ankalaev. And, dude, did a lot of things. Like, a lot of good things. Like, in the Ankalaev fight, Dude,
I think this is this is a sick ass leg kick versus leg kick
oh
fight.
My goodness.
We're
Dude,
gonna find out.
The thing is, if the fight stays standing, Alex is gonna knock him out. Because Alex is gonna have the speed advantage. Alex, they both have the one-hit quitter with the left hand.
And Alex is low-key, he kind of knows, he's good with distance.
He's very good.
He's very good with his
That's
distance.
the most underrated part of his game.
I think people don't talk about it enough.
No, because they think it's just power with Izzy. Dude, the way he sets up his left hook and kind of whips it in.
Yeah.
Dude, he's just good at finding your fucking chin, man. And I think, if this fight stays standing, he's probably going to knock Jon out. Can Jon knock him out? Sure. Especially Jon, if he uses his leg kicks and then he uses the body kicks and the body work and stuff like that. But Alex has seen it all, man, at the stand-up. Jon's going to have to threaten the takedowns, in my opinion, to win this fight. If he does not, he's going to get knocked out, in my opinion. But Jon can knock him out, too. I think the UFC actually made this fight, too, because they know Jan Blachowicz is crazy enough to stand up with him. And Jon is a man of his word. Jon said he was going to stand up with Izzy, said he was going to stand up with Ankalaev, said he was going to stand up with Rakic, and he did. And he said he's going to stand up in this fight. He wants to test his striking against Pereira.
What a psycho.
I think he's fucking insane. But can he knock him out? Sure. I'm going to go with the more technical guy here and the guy who's an underdog. I agree. I think Pereira is more than capable of winning this fight if this fight even stands for half a round or a round and a half this fight. I like Pereira to catch him. Even if he gets taken down the second, there's still a third round, and Pereira can catch him. Pereira, I agree. Whoever's the dog here, I think you bet. Pereira's the dog. He's probably going to be getting half a unit from me.
All right, now on to the main event. Fighting for the vacant BMF title. I mean, okay. That doesn't matter. Fuck the title. We got a banger of a main event here. 5-rounder. Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier going one-on-one with Justin Gaethje. I keep saying Dustin and Justin, and I'm getting all tongue-tied. The Diamond. Fighting out of Coconut Creek, Florida. But he a Louisiana boy through and through. 34 years old, going against the highlight, Justin Gaethje. Fighting out of Colorado. Not sure where he hails from. He kind of looks like a...
I think he's from Arizona.
He looks like a California guy.
Yeah, I think he's from Arizona. Don't quote me on that. He might be a Colorado boy through and through. But
also 34 years old. Man, this fight is sick.
Yeah.
This fight has potential fight of the year written all over it.
I can't believe we're getting this and Spence and Crawford the same day.
Dude.
It's a travesty, low-key.
Saturday is loaded.
Loaded.
And we're getting, I think we're getting Bellator that day, too.
Yeah, we'll talk about that after, though.
Yeah.
Let's get through this main event.
There's a lot of fights and shit, but no one cares about
God.
Bellator. Who tweeted the other day? Who's like, man, who give a fuck about Bellator? Was that Terence?
Probably.
No, that wasn't Terence. That was Errol Spence.
Yeah.
He's like, who watched Bellator? Who watch a Bellator? He said some crazy shit online. That was hilarious.
Terence Crawford, well, Errol Spence for all the disrespect.
Yeah, he don't give a fuck. Shark Week, man.
Shark Week. He's Moby Dick. He's fucking hilarious.
How you gonna catch Moby Dick?
With a fucking fishing pole.
All right, we're derailing. Hold on. Let's get back to the fight. Man, I don't know. In my head, I don't know how this plays out more or less any differently from the first fight. I feel like these guys are both good at what they do and kind of implemented like the same, like, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I'm going to lean Dustin here. Only because I don't know.
Yeah.
Shit.
This fight, yeah, and I know where you're at with this
This is great.
every day I wake up, I have a different opinion on this fight.
Yeah, it's insane. It's like,
It's a great fight.
Justin, maybe if he implements his leg kicks more.
I tell you what, if this line, because he's at plus 130 right now, if this line gets up to plus 150, I might have to just go dog or pass on this fight.
Yeah.
That's how I'm looking at this fight, too.
Who wants it more?
Yeah.
Is the damage going to add up for Justin Gaethje eventually? Who knows?
Dustin's also accumulated a ton of damage in his career, right? So,
Yeah.
Dude, this is a phenomenal fight. This is fireworks. There's a small chance Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford could be a snooze fest just because of the respect. But there is no way that this fight's going to be a snooze fest.
And these guys are not going to really grapple each other either. They're gonna.
No.
It's going to be standing banging.
This
is going to be a standing banger.
What I will say is Dustin's definitely the better boxer.
Yes.
Dustin's the better grappler. Justin is the better wrestler. Justin is the better leg kicker.
Yes.
To be honest, Justin has made more improvements in his game, in my opinion, to an extent. I think Dustin's become a better finisher. Justin has made better improvements with distance management. And I'm completely sold on that after he did what he did to Rafael Fiziev. That fight impressed the shit out of me.
Yeah, but the thing is, as good as he looked, Fiziev was still able to tag him up.
Lighting him up.
And Poirier, man, like,
he hits at a different level.
yeah,
He hits harder.
He's crazy, man.
He hits harder. But if Justin can use his leg kicks, keep the distance, manage the distance, and try to pick Dustin up, in distance, I just don't trust that portion because Dustin manages distance very well. He's one of the best boxers in the UFC.
And they both rocked each other last fight too. It's not like, they both have equal opportunity to finish each other. Like,
Correct.
Justin hurt Dustin first, right?
Yeah.
And then Dustin hurt and finished him later.
Yeah.
In the fight. So it's like, man.
If Justin goes a heavy leg attack, he can win this fight. The thing is, he hasn't really done that. He hasn't had that approach in a lot of his fights recently. But what I will say is Dustin was winning the fight last time, but Justin was giving him all he could handle in every round until Dustin was able to stop him.
I could see Gaethje really wanting this more. He knows he lost the first one.
He scares me a little bit though, because he's already saying if he doesn't win, he's gonna retire. And I hate when fighters do that. It terrifies me a bit.
Yeah.
So like when they start throwing around the R word.
I think I just gotta lean Dustin. I think
Dustin's the lean for me too.
I might wake up tomorrow and lean Gaethje, but
yeah,
right now, gut feeling, I think Dustin Poirier probably gets it done.
Yeah, my man
it's
is
a crazy fight, man.
My man is crazy, and if I'm correct, Jorge Masvidal was putting the belt on the winner.
Super necessary.
So
yeah, he's coming through.
That's crazy, man. I mean, this is a banger, man. This is a banger, and could this fight go to distance? That's a good question. It could.
Ooh.
How crazy is that?
It actually could go to distance.
Just because Justin's so much more responsible now.
I feel like it's going to be more of a chess match than it was last fight.
I agree.
For sure.
Which is why I think Justin has a chance. He does, especially if he implements the leg kicks and he can keep Dustin on the outside and catch him on the way in. Catch him on some counters the way he caught Fazeev and the way he caught Tony Ferguson when they fought. This fight can go so many ways. The lean is definitely Dustin because Dustin's just shown it to me more. Yeah. And the thing is, his counter boxing, especially when they get in the pocket and they get those exchanges,
he thrives in that.
He does.
He gets excited when there's that dirty pocket exchange when his back is against the cage.
Yeah,
and he's just like, all right, boy,
and he brings it, So it's not in only that, but Justin is also not a guy who throws straight punches, and I think you need to be a pretty straight puncher to get Dustin out of there. If you loop punches, he's going to counter you.
Yeah.
And, Jorge Masvidal said it best.
Super necessary.
That if it's a shootout and the guns are shooting, he wants Dustin Poirier by his side. And time again, he has shown that against Conor, against Michael Chandler, against Justin already. And I think he's a stylistic matchup trouble for Islam.
Yeah,
I think he can exploit some holes in his game because Islam's not the chain wrestler that Khabib is.
No.
He's just not, I like Dustin here. I might change my opinion tomorrow too, but that's where I stand with this. And before we wrap up the podcast, guys, just so you know, my brother mentioned earlier, we do have Bellator versus Ryzen this weekend. We have Estrada trying to unify the belts in her weight class this weekend. Please follow us on all of our social media platforms so you can, get some bets and some insight in terms of where we're leaning and win some money. But to close this out, episode 23 in the books. This is a good one. This is a big weekend of fights. You already know the routine. Follow, like, subscribe, comment, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Everybody currently watching on YouTube right now, hit the notification bell, hit subscribe, drop a comment, and hit the like button, please.
And for all of our audio listeners, Google, Spotify, Apple Podcast. You already know. We love you guys. Holla at you. Episode 23 in the books. Tune into the fights this weekend. Tune into the podcast. Tune into our social media platforms for those bets and the bets that we didn't even discuss in the cast. Love ya. Holla at ya.